Hello and welcome. I'm Nitin Gokhale, and today we are privileged to have with us the commander of the Sri Lankan Army, Lieutenant General Shavendra Silva, who is going to speak about his priorities and the Army's plans for the nation's security. General Silva, thank you very much for your time, and it's an honor to sit with you and try and discuss where the Sri Lankan Army is headed and where is it at this moment. So let me ask you by saying that the Sri Lankan army has met so many challenges in the past, but now, 10 years after the Eelam War 4 or the conflict was over, there must be new challenges. When we last met during the defense seminar, you had mentioned unconventional threats, non-traditional threats, also one of the threats that are there. Can you just tell us where is the Sri Lankan army today and what are its plans?
Thank you, Nitin. Thank you for inviting me for this interview, and I appreciate.
Pleasure.
Of course, we have to know exactly, first of all, where we are. The Sri Lanka, as far as the Sri Lanka is concerned, we have to identify as to what are the threats and the challenges that the Sri Lanka has got. And for that, we have to have a clear and a coherent vision for the Sri Lanka Army. So, and thereby, we should know we are heading. That is the requirement. So, I believe that we have to be ready and prepared for potential adversaries in coming years. That is very important. And the Sri Lanka Army should be capable of facing the vision that Sri Lanka Army would like to have. So, I believe that Sri Lanka Army should be a forward-looking army, and as you know, heart of our nation is defense, security and peace.
True.
So, therefore, the army had a vision, but with my tenure, I have kept the army to be ready, decisive and respected.
True. We also spoke about in the future there are likely to be asymmetric threats to any military in the world. And Sri Lankan army has actually taken on insurgency very successfully. Have some of those lessons been very useful, and do you get enough, do you get a lot of demands from different armies in the world to transfer the knowledge base that the Sri Lankan army has in counter-insurgency, counter-terrorism operations?
Yeah, of course. As you know that you also have been there. We have had just finished in August the defense seminar, and we also have different exercises, and we have joint training with different armies, and a lot of response to that as far as the Sri Lankan Army's experience is concerned. Sure. But what you are talking about the defense seminar or the outcome of that, we have to understand we as a country, we have a small country, economy, so we have to think of that also. What I believe is, having identified all these threats and the challenges ahead of us, we prepare our army in such a way where we should be able to face all these challenges. In the meantime, we have given enough exposure to various countries to the things that we have learned during the wartime. And as you know, it is this is a peace time, but our experience are being called by most of the countries, most of the armies would like to have. So we have a lot of had last like 10 years, we have been giving our knowledge to these countries, and our officers going on overseas courses, they also been given a bit of a time to talk about our countries, whatever the experiences that we have.
True.
So that we have been doing that over the years now.
Correct. So moving on to some of your key result areas, and I remember I saw on your website some of the vision statements that you have made. One of the key areas is to look after the veterans and some of the war wounded that you have talked about. Speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, of course. I have given certain priorities in the army as far as Nosu Nai took over. Right. That is about the security of the nation, I have spoken about the security of its people, then also about the development of the army, and the final point what you just mentioned about the well-being of the members of the army. When it comes to well-being of the members of the army, what you are talking of welfare, the army has got the people who are serving right now in the army, those who have retired from the army, then also we have those families, those who have sacrificed their husbands or the son or killed in action actually.
That's right.
And we also have a fair amount of wounded in action. Now, as far as all these four, the army community is one member, these members. So we have lots of welfare measures that we are doing. We have actually welfare hotels in the country. Right. We have in many places. Any member of all these four communities that I mentioned, they can go to any of these hotels at a massive discount rate.
Right.
So which it's like 4-star hotels,
Okay.
where they can't afford to go to other civilian hotels.
Yeah.
They have been given this exposure by the army. Right. So that is one. Then also we have a system in the army, we have a lot of houses actually in bungalows, holiday homes. Inside all these, most of the regiments, we have 24 regiments, all of them have got around the country holiday homes. Right. Those are much lesser than this hotel system also.
Right.
So we encourage them to take their families into these places so that their families get exposure. Then other than that, we have a massive way of looking after the children of our community, army community.
Yes.
That is, they are being given a year one when they enter a school. Right. They are given a priority by the government on some percentage in all leading schools. Right. All leading schools in any township, we are being given a priority. Excellent. So our soldiers get best of the best schools in
which is so important for the soldier.
We get the schools. Then also all regiments, including the army, and you know in Sri Lanka army we have a Seva Vanita unit where the ladies are involved. Sure. So they also have a scheme where we give them scholarships. Right. So children who are beyond the age of grade 5 and the children who are beyond the grade 10 and those who are going to universities, we give scholarship. And also we have welfare shops where we give the all ranks whatever they want to buy, the food items and other like
amenities,
household equipment at a very discounted rate. The people of this country, they have been very good to us. Yes. So even these companies have been very nice to Sri Lankan military, for that matter, Thrive Services. Yes. So they have been given at a very discounted rate where you can't buy in the normal market. Right. Like in Indian Army, like the CSD system. Yes. So we have such a thing. So I think as far as we are concerned, we also have given a lot of credit facility to military people and their families. And also we have a nice hospital and the families are being treated. Right. And we also have welfare schemes if they are, even after their retirement, how to look out. So as far as as you mentioned, my first priority is about the well-being, happiness of the army. I have mentioned the army that I wanted the army that all members are happy.
Yeah. So a happy team is always very effective team. You know, that's the motto I suppose you're following. But let me move on to one more important issue is about there are articles I'm sure you've come across where people say while during the war such a big army was justified, today it may not be justified. And I've asked this question earlier to other experts. Does Sri Lanka need such a big army is the question a lot of critics put. What is your answer to that?
Yeah, I mean, one could criticize whether we should need a big army as such. We want a right sizing. We are doing the right sizing to the army as of now. Right. Because as I mentioned at the first question, we who know what are the challenges that we have, one must understand that it is not only just war fighting. Army is not only for that, you see. We are supporting the nation building. Correct. And we know that being a country in the South Asian country, you have certain calamities here and there, things are there. So, army should be prepared. We must not forget the fact that we are just one decade after having a 3 decades war in the country,
Right.
the most ruthless terrorist organization
Yes.
in the world, we fought against them and we have eradicated terrorism.
Yes.
So we are doing the right sizing right now.
Right.
I'm sure that the right sizing is good enough
Yeah.
for a country like this.
That's right. And it is affordable. It should be affordable to any country like Sri Lanka, actually. General Shavendra Silva, I wanted to ask you on one of the key issues of human rights violation charges that are being made against the Sri Lankan army and sometimes particularly against you. You were there in you were spearheading the final assault in 2009. What do you have to say to those charges that are there?
Yeah, first of all, one must understand, as you also have been in the Sri Lankan last days of the war, you will understand how humanly that Sri Lanka army was treating the innocent civilians. As far as we are concerned, we went as a humanitarian operation just to rescue them from the clutches of LTT, the most ruthless terrorist group in the world. So when we did this operation, we were so careful about the civilians. And these people who are bringing all these allegations, they have forgotten that we had over 12,000 LTT cadres rehabilitated and reintegrated with the society.
Right.
And also the issue here, what I find here is that these people who are doing all these allegations live abroad, not here. None of these people in the north, they have come out and told that I have done any of these things. Those live abroad. Now, who are these people? What are they doing? They have gone there, they are living there, and they got money from these people. Not from these people, even the people who are living abroad, their relations, they had to give money. You must be knowing certain countries,
That's
I
right.
don't have to tell.
Yes, yeah.
Morning, once a month, they come and collect their quota, what they are supposed to pay for this organization.
Correct.
Now they are dried up with money, they have no money.
Right.
And they are like wounded abroad without money, okay? They are actually wounded people.
Yes, yeah.
So these wounded guys who are the sympathizers or supporters of LTT, since they have not getting any generation of money there, they are trying to talk about these things and keep this alive,
Right.
okay? What LTT could not do over 3 decades, that they want to get that. So we have a diplomacy war right now at the moment.
Right.
So what I believe is that these are the people who are giving, and one must understand that I have appeared in front of 3 inquiries. We follow the same British system, justice,
Yes.
judicial system in Sri Lanka, and I appeared before them. None of the courts have made me
Guilty anywhere.
Guilty anywhere. So one must understand that presumption of innocence until proven guilty. This is the principle of natural justice should prevail for me.
That's right.
Those people who practices this abroad should practice the same thing as far as I am concerned. So,
I think the president, your newly elected president, is also facing the same charges in a way because he was defense secretary at that point in time. Yeah, if you remember, and you were at the UN for 4 years. Nobody raised those charges that time, I think.
yeah, nobody, because the same UN accepted me, my credentials to be the Sri Lankan ambassador and deputy permanent representative in UN there.
Yeah.
So I worked there, but certain allegations were brought at that time also. But I managed to work as ambassador for 4.5 years.
Perhaps
in
the
New
only
York.
serving general to work as an ambassador from Sri Lanka.
I'm the so far in the history of Sri Lanka, one and only serving Thrive Service, one and only person who managed to hold the ambassadorial rank there.
Yeah, exactly. So that, anyway, those are allegations which are there. You'll have to face them. But face them or sort of ignore them, whichever the choice is yours. But the fact is, during that operation in 2009, like you mentioned, you brought out almost 120,000 civilians, and I was witness to it when I was reporting from there. Now in the north, the army is doing a lot of work on rehabilitation and also, the kind of reintegration that you mentioned. Also rebuilding, if I'm not mistaken. So what is the progress there?
Yeah, as you know that we have done over the years, we have done lots of reintegration was done with the cadres.
Right.
Then we are helping the reconciliation process hugely, and also rebuilding the area there. We have given lots of support by way of human resource And also our officers, by our formations units, they also have got a lot of aids, support, sponsorships from various, our interests, what we have got. And we have built houses, we have supported the water systems and the building of the roads, all sort of things. Not only that, for even education. So all these areas, the army is supporting to ensure that these are our own people, own people, and they are the people who are affected. So mostly affected. It does not mean only they affected, even the southern parts everywhere. It was not only one area. Sri Lanka had this thing, entire country was affected.
That's true. So one final question on the Sri Lankan Army's future, because you've been yourself being trained in different countries. Of course, you've also trained in India. You were in the National Defence College. What about military cooperation or defence diplomacy that you are involved in, the Sri Lankan Army is involved in? How do you look at that? Does it help everyone, or not just the Sri Lankan Army?
No, everyone will be helped, because you know that as far as now, if I say India, India has given us a lot of support, and all the countries for that matter, they give a lot of courses to us, and one must understand that Sri Lanka Army, as far as the country is small, we can't establish all the institutions here. So, and also with the numbers that we have, with the limited vacancies that we have been sending abroad. So all these countries, the friendly foreign nations have been supporting us, giving certain courses, visit exposure to Sri Lankan officers at different levels that have been given. In the meantime, whatever the possible way, Sri Lanka Army, although we are a small army and a small country, we also have been given, as far as you know that right now, we find in the staff college, you have a lot of foreign students studying here. Then the other colleges also we find. And also we conduct a lot of exercises, command strike exercise. We get from a lot of nations come here to get the experience of our special forces and commandos and the air mobile brigades. And then also we have certain country to country exchange programs. We have like India, Mitra Shakti and few other things, and other countries as well. So we have a great cooperation among other nations as far as the militaries are concerned.
But that one of the fallouts of the allegations of human rights violations has been the stoppage of or trying to put obstacles in your UN deployment. How are you handling that? UN troops, your people going on UN deployment?
You know, we have a very capable Foreign Secretary and Foreign Ministry. They are capable of handling that. They are handling well right now. And you know, Army Command has nothing to do with those who are going for peacekeeping mission. We have a very clear way of vetting this system, practicing. So this vetting system, because of that, those who are vetted clearly and sent for foreign missions. So it has been happening not today, yesterday. It has been happening over the last many years. We have started in 1956 sending for peacekeeping operations. Since then we have been having this. So right now also we are practicing that. We have had no problems as far as the peacekeeping is concerned. I am sure that those who are doing these allegations trying to prevent Sri Lankan military who brought eradicate terrorism from our soil, I am sure that the nations will look at this in a manner in a very decent manner. And I have hope that UN will allow us to continue further.
You're working on that, but that's great to know. As usual, General Silva, a great pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Nitin.
Pleasure.